Hey folks, in today's video I want to share with you how we used a lap steel guitar to make something useful for worship music. We put out this new library called Sacred Steel. It's an Ultimate exclusive library, which means if you have a Sunday Keys Ultimate license or Sunday Keys All Access, then you get this new library. We release 4 Ultimate exclusives every year, once a quarter. And this is the newest one. And we're trying to do stuff in these Ultimate exclusives that isn't just straight down the middle of what modern worship music is expecting, but that naturally finds a home right alongside it. Our hope with each of these releases is that if one of these sounds makes you play or approach a worship song with some new energy or some fresh inspiration, then that library has done its job. And on a personal level, I have to say that this Sacred Steel release definitely feels like it fits that bill. I love the sound of lap steel or pedal steel guitar, and that is popping up in some worship music. Bethel's done some stuff, and of course in country music it's very, very common, always has been, always will be, probably. But we wanted to see how could we kind of translate the core tone of lap steel into something that made sense for worship music and that you could layer in with, pianos and pads and those sorts of things. So I'm going to explore this library a little bit, and I want you to listen as I go through these sounds and try and pick out that one sound that might be that point of inspiration for you, where you'd recognize, oh, a song I've been playing, I could use that and it might make me play it in a slightly different way. Or even if I play the exact same parts, it might take it in a different direction. So let's explore this together, and you tell me in the comments, does lap steel actually make sense for worship music in the way that we've approached this new library, Sacred Steel? Now, for today, as every other video, I'm not doing any post-processing of the output. This is just the Sunday Keys app's direct audio output. That red dot in the top right corner means we are screen recording. We just strip out the video from the screen recording and use the audio only with no post-processing and just put it straight in the video. So what you hear is what you get. It's helpful to have some context, so I'm using the new concert grand to sort of be my primary instrument. And then I'm gonna layer these lap steel sounds along with it. And then I do have this fader mapped here to control my on-screen piano, just so I can take it in and out if I wanna highlight the Sacred Steel sounds specifically. Okay, I'm gonna add a sound to module 2. We could search for this stuff, but I think it's easiest to go to expansion libraries. And then I'm gonna change this drop-down from category to be sound library. And then I can choose Sacred Steel. And these are all of the sounds that are in that library specifically. And I can still filter however else I would like. So if I wanted that category drop-down, I could choose it here. Just got guitars and pads in this library. It's rather straightforward. Okay, so let's just go top to bottom. I'm gonna layer it with this concert grand piano and let you hear how we did. You let us know in the comments. This is my mod wheel for brightness. Very subtle, but has that little slight stringy character, which I think is really cool. Detuned pad. Hear that little dip, and then we rise back up to the pitch. It's that expressiveness that I really love about a lap or pedal steel. So I'm really glad we were able to capture that here and use it in a really interesting way. You'll get weirder results if you play arpeggios or one note after the other, because they'll start to drift at different times. But if you play chords, you can count on that little fall and rise back up to the core note, being consistent. Here is echo pad. Really beautiful and extended preparation or performance of the lap steel. And mod wheel to make that a bit darker, sit underneath everything. Here's fragments. See how much brightness we've got. So you get a nice defined attack up front. And then, if you let those notes hold, it will infinitely loop and sustain over time. So becoming sort of a texture or a pad. Really lovely. Here's fuzz pad. Put some distortion on that bad boy. And you can really hear it as you bring the brightness up. Nice. Next up, this is one of the cleanest articulations, the most genuinely lap steel-y. So together, we're almost in like CP80 territory. Here's just the lap steel. So this is almost like a keys instrument to me, like maybe layer it with organ or electric piano. Can sound cool with an upright or a felt, or just on its own. Back with that grand piano. This next one's probably my favorite of the whole release. Really does that volume swell kind of thing, just automatically in a really, really beautiful way. Here's a pad right down the middle for you. Just a little bit of bloom. And a little bit of like almost shimmer on it. Brightness on the mod wheel. You couldn't get that from an analog synthesizer. Maybe from an FM synthesizer or a digital synth with a lot of work. There's something about that actual sampled instrument then being flipped around that gives you that really tactile feel. That's just so pleasant. Gorgeous. This is called Patina. Definitely got that performance there, baked into the sample, and uniform across the keyboard, so you can count on that timing. So you can also hit chords. Even hear a little bit of that string scraping going on there in the tail. Lap steel and pedal steel is all about the imperfections, I feel, because it's such a subjective instrument, right? Even when it comes to pitch, you're really in control, just like a violin or a cello, those sorts of things. This is pluck, just transient, just starter. piano out so you can hear it on its own, quite muted. And then bring up the mod wheel if you want more brightness. Of course, you can adjust the sweep of that mod wheel in settings for the sound if you want it to be only dark or only bright. Pretty expressive as you dig in also. Very cool. And then lastly, I'll keep this without the grand piano. This is upswell. Now we're not trying to really give you a super deep, articulate lap steel you'd use for solo play, but we couldn't do this library without at least one bend up. And as you dig in, that upswell takes less time. So it's best when you're playing a couple of notes at a time. Then we layer it in with the grand. I also find this works really well if you want to layer in an additional texture from the same library. So we'll take maybe my favorite model, and then we can use that upswell to just kind of define the starter. Sounds like the underwater music in Donkey Kong Country. That's a deep cut. Unless you're a millennial like me, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's it for Sacred Steel. It's an Ultimate exclusive library available now to everyone with an active Ultimate license or an active All Access license. I hope that this library brings you some inspiration. It was really fun for us to work on it, and we think the results are unique and also super versatile and useful in a modern worship context. So leave a comment, let us know which sound you use at your church and how it goes. It's a big encouragement to us. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next videos. We put out new resources for worship keys players and worship leaders every single week. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.